You guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. It is Tornadoes Man, and I am back here with another brand new video. And today we take a look at the 2011 Smithville tornado. This tornado was formed on April 27th 2011 at 3:42 p.m. and dissipated April 27th, 2011 at 4:23 p.m. The destruction was 41 minutes. This tornado was rated EF5 on the Enhanced Fujita scale. The path length was 37.3 miles and the highest wind speeds was 205 miles per hour. 23 fatalities, 137 injuries, and the damage was $14.4 million in U.S. damage in 2011. Let's get into the video. And today's video, this video is sponsored by, can I get a drum roll please? This video is sponsored by Quick Link. Get your Quick Link headphones today. They are brand new headphones that cancel out ear, they cancel out voice monitors, they cancel out any kind of background noise. Get your Quick Link headphones today, and they are at least up to 90 battery. They last for 9 hours of battery. So get your Quick Link headphones today, and you won't have to hear no type of noise or sounds while you're watching YouTube, Instagram, or any videos you prefer watching. Get your Quick Link headset today. Link will be in the description, or if I'm able to find it. But that is today's video sponsor. Get your Quick Link headphones today.
The 2011 Smithville tornado, Wikipedia. The afternoon of April 27, 2011, an extraordinarily violent and fast-moving EF5 tornado, commonly known as the Smithville tornado, 1. Devastated areas of rural Mississippi and Alabama, including the town of Smithville, Mississippi, resulting in catastrophic damage and 23 fatalities. This tornado was a part of the 2011 super outbreak, the largest tornado outbreak in United States history, and the third of 4 EF5 tornadoes to touch down on April 27, 2011, during the outbreak's most prolific day for tornadoes. The tornado reached an estimated maximum width of 3/4 mile, 1.2 kilometers, with estimated wind speeds of 205 miles per hour, 330 kilometers per hour. Tornado officially formed at 3:42 p.m. CDT 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers, west-southwest of Smithville along the Tennessee-Tombigbee Waterway, before quickly strengthening and striking Smithville, causing catastrophic damage. This damage prompted several tornado emergencies to be issued. The tornado swept away numerous homes and structures as it moved northeast, following Highway 25. Overall, the tornado destroyed 117 structures in Smithville and damaged 50 others. Continuing northeast, the tornado continued across the Alabama state line into Marion County, where it caused damage near Bear, Sharpsville, and north of Hamilton. More structures were impacted as the tornado approached and crossed into Franklin County. The tornado then dissipated near the town of Hodges at 4:23 p.m. CDT 2123 Coordinated Universal Time. The damage path was 37.3 miles, 60.0 kilometers, long. 2011 was a prolific year for tornadoes and tornado-associated fatalities, with multiple destructive outbreaks. In total, this specific tornado killed 23 people. Meteorological synopsis. In article, 2011 Super Outbreak Section Meteorological Synopsis. Setup. Environmental conditions leading up to the 2011 super outbreak were among the most conducive to violent tornadoes ever documented. 2. On April 25, a vigorous upper-level shortwave trough moved into the southern plains states. 3. Ample instability, low-level moisture, and wind shear all fueled a significant tornado outbreak from Texas to Tennessee. At least 64 tornadoes touched down on this day. 2. An area of low pressure consolidated over Texas on April 26 and traveled east while the aforementioned shortwave trough traversed the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys. 4. Another 50 tornadoes touched down on this day. 2. The multi-day outbreak culminated on April 27 with the most violent day of tornadic activity since the 1974 super outbreak. Multiple episodes of tornadic activity ensued with 2 waves of mesoscale convective systems in the morning followed by a widespread outbreak of supercells from Mississippi to North Carolina during the afternoon into the evening. 2. Tornadic activity on April 27 was precipitated by a 995 millibars, HPA, 29.39 nhg, surface low situated over Kentucky and a deep, negatively tilted, aligned northwest to southeast trough over Arkansas and Louisiana. A strong southwesterly surface jet intersected these systems at a 60 degrees angle, and a geostrophic flow that led to storm relative helicity values in excess of 500 meters 2s-2, indicative of extreme wind shear and a very high potential for rotating updrafts within supercells. Ample moisture from the Gulf of Mexico was brought north across the deep south, leading to daytime high temperatures of 77 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 to 27 degrees Celsius, and dew points of 66 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 19 to 22 degrees Celsius. Furthermore, convective available potential energy, CAPE, values reached 2,500 to 3,000 J per kilogram. 2. Forecast. National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center outlined a high-risk area for severe weather over central Alabama on this map. National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center's Day 1 convective outlook for April 27, showing the categorical graphic. This version of the map shows a 45% probability of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point in the highest risk area, and a 10% chance of a significant tornado. Probability of a tornado within 25 miles of a point, crosshatched area, 10% or greater probability of EF2 plus tornadoes. The morning of April 27, a strong cold front with several areas of embedded low pressure extended from the Texas Hill Country northeastward towards the Arklatex and the Ozarks, and later into the lower Ohio Valley. Warm moist air was in place due to strong southerly flow ahead of the front over Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. An upper-level disturbance sparked a broad area of showers and thunderstorms as it moved across the frontal boundary on the previous evening. The eastern edge of the line of showers and storms continued to move eastward, in concert with the upper disturbance, reaching the northwest Alabama border around 2 a.m. CDT 5. This produced the last and most violent round of severe weather, which began around 2:30 p.m. CDT for northern Alabama as supercells began to line up to the southwest of the area. During the early afternoon, the potential for destructive tornadoes was highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center's upgrade to a high risk for severe weather around 1 p.m. CDT 5. This prompted a particularly dangerous situation, PDS Tornado Watch, which was issued for northern Alabama and portions of southern Tennessee at 1:45 p.m. CDT. The bulletin that accompanied the watch read, 6. NWS Storm Prediction Center has issued a tornado watch for portions of much of Alabama, northwest Georgia, southeast Mississippi, southern middle Tennessee, effective this Wednesday afternoon and evening from 1:45 p.m. until 1:00 p.m. CDT. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Destructive tornadoes. Large hail to 4 inches in diameter. Thunderstorm wind gusts to 80 miles per hour, and dangerous lightning are possible in these areas. Potential for tornadoes ramped up from noon through 9 p.m. CDT. During this period, much of Mississippi and Alabama experienced numerous supercell thunderstorms that produced violent tornadoes, including 4 EF5 tornadoes, one being the Smithville tornado. 5, 7, 8. The Smithville supercell itself existed along a thermal boundary in northeastern Mississippi. This was an east-west oriented outflow boundary left behind by the morning squall line. This boundary is also assumed to be the same boundary that the Hackleburg tornado developed on. Conditions were locally enhanced by more easterly surface winds generated along the residual boundary, allowing for a corridor of enhanced tornado potential. 2. Tornado summary. Formation and track into Smithville. After producing a long-track EF3 tornado that passed near New Wren and through a vehicle 1.7 miles, 2.7 kilometers, the same supercell produced this tornado that began 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers, west-southwest of Smithville along the Tennessee-Tombigbee Waterway near the Glover-Wilkins Lock at 3:42 p.m. CDT, 2042 UTC. The funnel itself explicitly touched down at exactly 3:43 p.m. CDT, 2043 UTC, snapping numerous trees near the Smithville Recreation Area and scouring the ground in a violent fashion. Despite experiencing a momentary reprieve in its intensity shortly after its first track of severe damage, the fast-moving tornado rapidly re-intensified as it approached town, reaching EF5 intensity for the first time. As the storm crossed Davis Road south, the ground was deeply scoured in a nearby field, leaving a trench in the ground that was still visible in aerial photographs taken more than a year later. 9. The tornado began producing remarkably intense damage and swept away multiple homes and structures as it moved northeast, following MS-25. The first fatality from the tornado occurred in this area as a bed and breakfast was obliterated and swept from its foundation, with debris from the structure scattered long distances downwind. Cinder blocks from the structure were broken into small pieces of concrete and strewn throughout a nearby field. A semi-truck was thrown 300 yards, 270 m, and destroyed in this area, and an RV was thrown 250 yards, 230 m, and partially embedded into the ground nearby. A second semi-truck was completely torn apart, with only its bumper later found hanging from the struts of the Smithville Water Tower, located 1.4 mile, 2.3 kilometers, to the northeast. One brick residence was swept away along this segment of the path as well, and part of its concrete foundation slab was pulled up and slightly dislodged, with extensive ground scouring and debarking of trees noted on the property. The tornado, slightly weakening yet maintaining EF5 intensity, scoured the topsoil to a depth of 1 foot, 30 centimeters. Some metal storage buildings and 14 mobile homes were obliterated nearby, with metal framing from some of the mobile homes thrown and twisted into pieces. EF5 damage to a large, well-built, anchored house in Smithville, Mississippi. EF5 tornado then entered Smithville as it strengthened even further, producing exceptionally violent damage as it moved through both commercial and residential areas. It would reach its maximum intensity in the eastern district of Smithville, dozens of large, anchor-bolted, well-built brick homes were completely swept away in town, and many large hardwood trees were completely debarked and denuded. One large brick home had its foundation partially dislodged and shifted, with intense hardwood debarking and shredded low-lying vegetation visible. All furniture, appliances, and plumbing from homes in the tornado's direct path were either shredded or missing, and some homes had floor tiles scoured from their foundations. Shrubbery along the perimeters of some homes was shredded and/or stripped as well, and debris from many of the obliterated homes was finely granulated into small pieces. A Ford Explorer was thrown a 1/2 mile (0.80 kilometers) into the top of the Smithville Water Tower, then bounced off of it, and was hurled an additional 1/4 mile (400 meters) before impacting the ground and eventually coming to rest on the opposite side of the city. The city hall, the post office, 4 churches, several businesses, the water system, and the police station were all destroyed as the tornado moved through town. Tar and chip pavement was torn from a road in town and rolled into piles, intense ground scouring was noted in several areas, and a 1965 Chevrolet pickup truck was thrown from one residence and never found. Several other vehicles in town were thrown hundreds of yards, torn into multiple pieces, stripped down to their frames, or wrapped around trees as well. 10. Some instances of damage show that many of the vehicles wrapped around trees encountered extreme subvortices, with some sections of sheet metal having been wrapped around trees multiple times. The local medical clinic was destroyed as well, with supplies being scattered around the city. 11. All of the aforementioned damage was caused in between 3 to 5 seconds, as the tornado had a forward motion speed of roughly 55 miles per hour at this point in its life. Toowoomba County. Large brick E.E. Pickle funeral home was reduced to a bare slab as the tornado exited the northeast side of the city, with the debris scattered and wind rode into an adjacent wooded area. Extreme debarking of trees was noted in this area, and pieces of vehicles and structures were strewn long distances throughout the woods. The mangled remains of the Ford Explorer that impacted the water tower was found in a ditch at the edge of this wooded area, the SUV being crushed and flattened. Around this area, it's possible that a secondary core existed. This is evident by nearby granite tombstones from a cemetery being blown over in the opposite direction of the tornado's passage, with some being broken and thrown. Overall, the tornado destroyed 117 structures in Smithville and damaged 50 others, killing 16 people. 12. From this point on, the tornado began to gradually weaken as it continued through rural areas northeast of town and moved into Toowoomba County, where it uprooted numerous trees and power lines and caused roof damage to a house before exiting the county. 9. 13. Crossing into Alabama, weakening and dissipation. Tornado then continued across the Alabama state line into Marion County, where it caused EF1 damage to outbuildings and mobile homes near Bear. Continuing northeast, the tornado re-intensified as it struck the rural community of Scottsville at high-end EF3 intensity, where homes and mobile homes were destroyed, hundreds of trees were snapped and debarked, and 7 more people were killed. The tornado produced additional high-end EF3 damage as it continued north of Hamilton, where several mobile homes and frame homes were destroyed, including one frame home at the bottom of a ravine that was swept clean from its foundation. Though lack of road access prevented close inspection of the home's construction, precluding a potential higher rating at that location, this implies that the tornado had reached violent intensity once again. 14. Several additional homes were damaged and a chicken house was destroyed as the tornado approached Franklin County. The tornado then crossed the county line and weakened to EF2 strength, where it snapped and uprooted numerous large trees, damaged or destroyed several chicken houses, totaled a car, destroyed a mobile home, tore much of the roof off of a 2-story house, and caused significant roof damage to several other homes. The tornado finally dissipated near the town of Hodges at 4:23 p.m. CDT, 2123 UTC, only a few miles away from the beginning path of another high-end EF5 tornado which earlier struck the towns of Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. The damage path was 37.3 miles, 60.0 kilometers, long and 3/4 mile, 1.2 kilometers, wide at its widest point, and it killed a total of 23 people along its path. 137 other people were injured.